Hey, what's up? Michael here. I make Diablo 2 off meta builds. I write and record music, sing, and play guitar. You can check those out on my channel. And I also do Final Fantasy VII theory videos, which will be coming in the future. But for now, we're looking at Path of Exile 2. Again, an older video now at this point. It's 10 months old, the Druid, on the Path of Exile YouTube channel. I haven't seen this since it first came out, and it's really hard for me to remember what's even showcased in this, to be honest. So this is like kind of like a fresh reaction to this. I know there's been some changes since then and everything, and they've added and taken away certain things and the WSD, all that, I know. But let's just see what the Druid looks like so far and what they have shown. I am a big fan of the Druid in Diablo 2. So I would like to see what kind of Druid-like abilities and builds we could get our hands on when Path of Exile 2 comes out. Smooth bear transition. Like, that looks cool. I like the wolf. The wolves that are there, that's a big plus for me. I love the dire wolves in the Diablo 2.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers, one of the game directors on Path of Exile 2. In Path of Exile 2, you can pick from one of 12 character classes. Each character has a combination of primary attributes that they focus on. Today, we'd like to show off a character who specializes in strength and intelligence, the Druid.
Yeah, so strength and intelligence.
In human form, the Druid is a spellcaster who channels the fury of nature on the battlefield, a walking natural disaster. But get up close and you'll find out why the Druid also focuses on strength.
Very reminiscent of Diablo 2 so far in terms of some of these abilities. There was like a tornado, and then there were volcanoes coming out of the ground. I mean, Diablo 2, the elemental tree on a Druid, you've got literally tornado, twister, hurricane, volcano, fissure. There's meteor, Armageddon type stuff. But yeah, very much. The Druid in Diablo 2 does not have like lightning type damage though, like this one does. But this makes sense thematically, I guess, for like a thunderstorm if you're controlling some of the elements, right? With like a tornado.
You can transform yourself into one of several wild beasts.
Transform yourself into one of several wild beasts. Now, it's been a long time, but I think they only show the bear in this one, I want to say, right? What are the other ones? I hope there's like a really sick werewolf type thing. There's got to be. There has to be, right? And what other ones? He said one of several. That's piqued my interest a lot, is what else can you change into?
Today we want to show off the bear form.
So it's just the bear. Yeah, okay, just the bear right now. But
transformation in POE2 happens automatically when you use a bear attack.
So look in the background, there's like guys being stunned kind of by the lightning over here while he's dealing with this here, and these like hit the ground. The whole area there, all of the rock formation there is all disrupted.
Use bear maul and your
which is a nice detail.
Transform into a bear, into a meaty swing. Use a spell and your character transforms back into a human and casts it.
So that's really nice that it just automatically shapeshifts you depending on what spell or attack that you're doing. That's kind of cool.
Hitting enemies with the bear's maul attack will build up rage, which increases your attack damage. So your bear gets stronger with every attack. You can see the glowing runes that indicate rage on your back.
Stronger as you attack, okay.
Have a lot of weak enemies to take out? This is where you probably want to break out your rampage. Let out a roar and stampede over all enemies in your path, slamming the ground with your paws. The initial roar generates rage, and then the rage is consumed as you charge along. You can use rampage by itself to travel a short distance, or do some mauling first to build up some rage and travel a significant distance.
Okay, so if you maul first, he said that you can build up rage and that will let you travel a bigger distance with the like ground pounding movement ability. Okay. See, I didn't remember that.
Now, while the bear is big and strong, this isn't a pure strength class. You don't have as much armor as a warrior would have. In order to protect itself from larger packs, you might want to consider a skill like Furious Slam. This skill is all about stunning rather than damage, so it's quite useful.
Just look at the ground effects around it from that. I really like that detail of it. And I've mentioned this in my other Path of Exile video, I think. Attention to the small details for some of these skills makes them that much more fun to use, you know, and look at on screen. This game's really getting some cool stuff in here, you know. I really like that.
If you're mobbed by smaller monsters and just need to get out of there. Of course, like any POE2 character, you can always use a dodge roll to get out of danger, since the bear is the slowest of the druid's forms. Making sure the dodge feels reliable.
He said the bear is the slowest of the druid's forms. Come on. Where's the other ones, dudes? It's been 10 months. Show me some werewolf. And what else could it be? What, like, I don't know. I didn't play Path of Exile 1, so maybe it's obvious to some people. But, like, can you turn into, like, a bird or, like, a raven, wolf? Like, what else could you possibly... My Diablo 2 brain is like, there's wolf and bear, nothing else. So I'm like, what else could you turn into? I don't know.
And can get you out of any situation is paramount. When you dodge an animal form, your character instantly transforms back with no time penalty, so that you can get out of the way.
That's cool.
You can even interrupt a mistimed transformation halfway through. Of course,
Love that.
doing this will mean you pay the slight time cost of having to transform back again, but it's certainly a lot better than dying. Something interesting about the skill is that it's faster to use if you're already...
They all have like a stun notification or something, you know, above their head after that slam.
standing up. If you're on all fours when you use Furious Slam, then the bear has to stand up first before slamming back down. But use Maul first, and the bear will stand up as you swing, which has no time penalty. Then
okay, so you can slam faster if you maul first because you're already in the standing position. So that will... That's interesting. I like that. I like the idea of having to efficiently use skills based on other skills. That's kind of a cool thing. We'll see how that plays out, like, in practice, you know what I mean? But I do like that. I do like that in concept, and I think that'll probably be good.
Furious Slam, and your bear will quickly slam down. Much more efficient.
Yeah, okay. I didn't remember that either. So, I mean, this is like almost like new to me, even though I probably have seen this from 10 months ago. Yeah, I see that it's faster. That's cool. And that was a slower one because he wasn't standing yet.
Next up, I want to talk about Ferocious Roar. Ferocious Roar is a bear meta skill gem. It allows you to take...
Meta skill gem. AoE shapeshift. Requires level 42, 51 strength, 51 intelligence. Shapeshift into a bear and trigger Warcry skills. Okay.
Take any Warcry skill that another class like the warrior might use and allow you to use it as a bear.
Oh, sweet, dude. So it allows you to take Warcry skills from, like, the warrior and trigger them with shapeshifting. Dude, I want that stuff in Diablo 2. You know, like, I've always wanted, like, a little bit more depth in some of the interconnectivity of some of the skills like that in Diablo 2. I'm gonna love this game.
I'm going to take the Seismic Cry gem and socket it into Ferocious Roar. You can actually socket more than one Warcry and use them all together, but let's just stick to one for now.
Okay. So you can socket them all.
Seismic Cry pushes enemies back and has some stun chance, but the reason we want to use it is for a mechanic called Exerted Attacks. If there are any heavily stunned enemies in range of the Warcry, then your next slam skill will be powered to do double the number of slams. First, I use Furious Slam to stun these enemies. Next, I follow up with Seismic Cry and get the Exerted Attack, and then I slam again. See how 2 slams triggered?
Ah, yeah, so it like ba-bam, ba-bam after. So it allowed for two in one. So basically it's twice as effective just because you have that skill gem now that allows you to have the Warcry, which allows it to do 2 slams. That's cool. Yeah, I see it again there. It was
So,
like, dun,
that's
dun,
all well and
dun.
good, but how about we try that again using Rampage? First, get a bit of Rage, slam to stun the enemies, Seismic Cry to get the exert, and then Rampage around to do insane amounts of damage.
Yeah, so each one of those now is like
So
way
we've covered
stronger.
some of the bear side of the Druid, but how is he as a spellcaster? Now, of course, we want to maximize the amount of time you spend in your animal forms, so most of the spells targeted at the Druid tend to be things that last a long time or provide tactical options on the battlefield. The first and probably simplest of these is Lightning Storm. Cast it on the ground and you get an area where monsters are continuously struck by bolts of lightning. The bolts don't do much damage, but they shock monsters, which is a debuff that increases all damage on them, meaning it's a great spell to use before going in as a bear. So, that's going to increase your damage, but as I mentioned before, the bear form of the Druid could use some defenses as well. The bear in particular is the slowest attacking of the Druid's forms. He hits hard, but if he gets swarmed too much, it will result in your death. That's why Tornado is so useful. Tornado sucks monsters in, allowing you to split up packs and deal with groups separately, or pin monsters in place and set up combos with your other skills.
Yeah, so that pins them.
The Tornado doesn't really move big monsters much, so you can actually use it to separate a boss from its minions too. The Druid also has the ability to summon animal companions. This is another
Animal companions. So this excites me. I really love the like the bear and the wolves and like the creepers and the spirits that you can summon in Diablo 2.
really useful defense because wolves can take aggro from you, keeping monsters away.
Cool.
In addition, the wolves howl as they are summoned, putting a temp.
Also, I'm like so biased for wolves. I myself have 2 German Shepherd dogs that are really well trained that I spent years training, and you know, those are my two dire wolves in my life. So I really like the wolf summons in games like this.
Temporary debuff on enemies that makes them more vulnerable to critical strikes, and giving you a reason to resummon them in combat.
Cool. They
The last
debuff
druid
when you
spell
summon
we're going to
them.
talk about today is Volcano. You can cast it quickly like this and it will spawn.
Look at the
just a few
wolves go.
projectiles. Or you
They
can
just took out that little goblin dude right there. Those 3 wolves.
hold down the button to channel it for longer.
And
which
this
will
other
make it
one?
fire a whole bunch of projectiles when it spawns.
I know he's talking about the volcano, but I'm just looking at the wolves.
A lot more damage. The volcano sticks around, firing its little projectiles for a long time.
Okay, I already know like a build that I want to make, and it will be Monk Druid, which I did make in Diablo 2. I came up with a human form melee druid in Diablo 2 that utilizes summons and a quarterstaff type weapon, you know? It's called a shillelagh in Diablo 2. But anyway, since you can cross-contaminate everything in this game, like, I could easily make, it seems like, a monk that has wolf companions, you know? That sounds awesome, dude.
So it's another good skill to cast before turning into a bear. Now, the reason you're going to want to turn into a bear after
Nice.
using Volcano
The wolf, like,
is that
jumped.
any slam near the volcano results in it spewing out even more projectiles.
So even more projectiles. Yeah, I see that. That's cool. So the volcano, like, it's cool that you can get it to, like, have more things shoot out, but I'm going to be honest, like, the volcano here, from what they've shown so far, seems kind of limited. It's, like, how stationary it is. Maybe it's really strong, like, if you cast it right under something. I don't know. But so far, I'm, like, the volcano's fine or whatever, but it's not, like, it doesn't get me excited, like the volcano spell.
And if you thought that was a lot, then Rampage is even better, because it does 2 slams every time it hits the ground. And you can run around the volcano.
Okay, so that's cool that you can get it to, like, shoot out a bunch more by running, like, slamming around it.
Now, if you've been paying attention, you might have realized that this is going to be extra good with Seismic Cry, which we were using earlier to double the number of slams. So, first we're going to cast Volcano.
Okay, volcano
Then
first.
Furious Slam till you stun something.
Stun it.
Seismic Cry to get the double slams, then
Double
Rampage
slam.
around while the volcano spews out a stupid.
So the double, yeah, so volcano, and he did, like, a stun, and then he did, like, a war cry for the double slam buff, and then he's, like, just jumping around, and now everything is, like, double slamming and, like, spewing more.
Number of projectiles. This
Yeah.
combo would have been even better if we'd remembered to cast our Lightning Storm first, but getting time for that seems tricky. It would also have been nice if the monsters were affected by the crit debuff that my wolves do when I first summon them. This is where some meta gems to automate some elements can
So
come
he's
in.
going to add in the debuff from summoning wolves, and he's got a meta gem, a trigger meta gem, it says. Cast while channeling. Gains energy while you channel. On reaching maximum energy, trigger all socketed spells. So, like, that's something built... Because I remember this from the other video I did, and I was, like, really confused, and I was, like, reading the description. I, like, read it, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm reading. But now I think I kind of get it. You can, like, build up something, and when it builds up all the way, it'll, like, trigger.
Handy. Here's a gem called Cast While Channeling. If we add Lightning Storm to the skill, we can cast it automatically while we channel a volcano as we set up our combo.
Ooh.
Cast While Channeling is an ongoing effect, so enabling the skill will cost us Spirit, which is a new resource in POE2 used specifically for these kinds of skills. If you look at the top left of the screen as we channel, we can see the energy building up to cast the Lightning Storm.
Yeah.
So long as we channel Volcano for long enough, the Lightning Storm will also be cast on the same targeted location. Currently, Cast While Channeling is active in reserving Spirit in both our human and bear forms. This means that any channeling skills we use as a bear technically will also cast the Lightning Storm. We
Okay.
can actually do this with Rampage right now,
So
but
you can,
it's not the best
So you can get the lightning storm in the bear form?
because we would prefer to stack the Lightning Storm on top of our Volcano, rather than just casting it randomly as we're rampaging around. We're also unnecessarily reserving Spirit in our bear form we could be using for something else. So let's fix that.
Okay. So
I'm going to go into the skill options for
So
the
he's saying they're going to optimize their spirit reserve by switching up their skills.
skill and disable it in my bear form. We showed at ExileCon how you could use skill options to control which weapon set to use when casting skills. But you can also use the same interface to enable or disable which buffs you would like to have active in your different weapon sets too, without having to recast them all the time. And shapeshifting counts as a weapon set.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I forgot about that too. So, just like the passives from the other video, where you can have weapon set, like your what do you have on swap can have its own passive, you can do that for the shapeshifting?
Now when I change to a bear, the effect and the spirit reservation goes away, and when I change back to a human again, it's back automatically.
Yeah, so he optimized the spirit reservation based on whether or not he's in human form or bear form. That's pretty sweet.
So, now that we have some extra spirit available as a bear, why don't we make our life a little bit easier by automating one of our other skills?
Okay, so having like the lightning with the volcano at the same time, I feel like, yeah, okay, the volcano is cooler now, you know, like when you can link it with other things, it definitely makes it more interesting. And that's like so smart, because it's like now any of these skills that you see, you're going to be like, well, actually it's pretty sweet if you link it with this. You know, maybe on its own it's not that impressive, but with this and this, it's actually amazing. The possibilities are just like, I've not even seen that much of this game really, and I'm just like, yeah, dude, builds are flooding into my brain right now.
This is the Cast on Melee Stun meta gem. I'm going to put Summon
Cast on melee stun.
Wolf in Cast on Melee Stun, so that whenever I stun a sufficient number of enemies while I'm a bear, it will summon another wolf.
Summon more wolves. I like that.
This is great because usually when I'm stunning, it's because I'm about to do my exerted attack slam combo. When wolves come out, they howl, adding the crit debuff to the monster.
Oh my gosh.
It also helps keep my wolves alive and summoned at all times without me having to do it manually.
So I love that the wolves have a debuff on summon, and he's just summoning them with, like, trigger summoning them. And that was a nice visualization there too, with just like the mayhem and the big bear being like, "Roar!" You know, it like very, very cool. Like it just like you believe it. You know, I like the animations, the sound effect, the slamming. It looks cool.
So, last but not least, let's talk about the skill tree. At ExileCon, we showed how you could dual spec your character so that different weapons can use different passives.
Right.
Well, as I said before, the bear form counts as another weapon
Yeah,
set for
and the
specialization
shapeshifting counts.
purposes. So he gets a tree too. If I open my passive tree, you can see how I'm near a melee damage cluster and a spell damage cluster. By holding shift, I can allocate these passives in my human form, and these ones as a bear.
7 unconfirmed passive skill changes. Apply points. So you have like a limited resource of placing your passive like swaps. Is that right? I think that's what someone said to me before in the comments, but that sounds right, you know.
Now, when I change between human and bear form, my passives reallocate automatically.
Yeah, that's great.
So, here we are at the Blind Beast. The goblins have enslaved a huge behemoth.
I love that the game is just like, yes, hybridize your builds. We would like you to do that. I'm like, yeah, cool, you know?
Gouged out its eyes. Now they're sending it in to fight you while they watch.
What have they done to this creature?
What have they done to this creature? I like that the druid is concerned. He's concerned because it's an animal that they've done something to, and then he's just like, oh, well, I'm just gonna kill it. I love how there's like all these goblins like watching as entertainment. Nice. Dude, I want to know what the other shape-shifting forms are now. How many are there? He said several. Like, does that mean 3? Or does he mean like, oh, there's like 7 of them? I'm gonna guess like 3. Oh, I couldn't get it off. Oh, no, he got it off. He was channeling the volcano, and it looked like he didn't actually fully channel it because the thunderstorm didn't come down.
Your suffering ends here. Shameful.
And there we have it, with a little bit of customization.
His voice was different in the bear form. He was like, your suffering ends here. You know? That was cool.
We have a build that can combine many different active skills to do some really interesting effects. At the same time, your skill tree reconfigures automatically at the right time, and your buffs reconfigure automatically as well. You can even cast certain skills automatically. But we also haven't lost the dynamics of combat. Many skills interact with each other, and the ones you choose to use at any different moment depend a lot on what enemies you face or what situation you're in right at this moment. And at just the right time, you might be able to combine all your skills in one crazy combo, get some satisfying screen covering spam, and do some crazy damage. Now, these are just some of the skills targeted at the Druid in POE2. We didn't even show you the wolf form yet.
Oh.
There's a lot more to play and experience, and we look
We didn't even show you the wolf form yet, he says at the end.
forward to letting you guys try it out when we go into beta on June 7th, 2024.
Yeah, well, that June 7th didn't pan out, but cool. Definitely cool. Dang, dude. Yeah. So I didn't really remember that very well. There was like a lot in there that I think a part of it is like I had no context for what he was talking about because I'd never played Path of Exile. But now like the meta gems and like the triggering and spells and the way you like gain energy to like trigger a spell, and the way that like the classes work with the passive skill tree and the ascendancies and like all this. Now I kind of get it better. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm kind of like, I feel like watching this now actually has me appreciate this a lot more, because I really didn't get all that, 10 months ago when I watched this. Like I said, I didn't even really recall watching this video, even though I'm pretty sure I did. So yeah, that knowing all that stuff makes this look a lot more interesting than just like watching it a while back when it was kind of like, I mean, all right, it's like bear form, like hitting the ground, like okay, but actually like paying attention to what he's actually talking about and seeing everything else looks a lot more interesting. Thanks a lot for checking the video out. You can subscribe to the channel if you want. I will be playing this game. I do have off meta builds for D2. I just uploaded one recently for a fire and lightning melee barbarian on Diablo 2 Resurrected. Check it out later.